Okay. We are just getting started. I'm getting everything lined up here. So, all right. Let me just see one thing. All righty. Okay, so I'm just getting all the devices here going. Excellent. Okay, so welcome to, let me just start this. Okay, there we are. Okay, so now I think I'm all set. All right, for those of you who don't know, I'm Michele Moritz. Welcome to Community Breathing and Tension Release virtual. Every Wednesday at 12 for 45 minutes. I'm a little bit late because I had trouble with all my devices here. So every camera is a little different. So today we're going to start on the floor. I'm going to do a little bit more, slightly more movement than I did last time. So let's just come back on the floor. Okay. We are going to just relax onto our seat, finding our sits bones here. You can cross your feet. You can let your feet come out into a long diamond shape. You can bring your feet out. You can sit on something. If you feel there's tension in your hips, if there's tension in your lower back and your sacrum, even tension in your shoulders because of your hips. So you can take something to prop yourself up a little bit. Maybe a yoga block might be a little bit narrow, but whatever you feel you can rest into through your seat. So we're just going to find a nice placement. We're shifting around a little bit. So make sure you're shifting and breathing into the bones, the sitting bones a bit here. We want to find a sense of sort of moving everything out of the way to let those bones relax and also let our hamstrings have a little bit more space. We're going to relax the shoulders, relax the arms. Feel that there's a sense of center plumb line all the way down through the spine into the base of your spine and the base of your pelvis. We're going to let the breath release down the spine into the base of the pelvis, relaxing through the shoulders, relaxing through the jaw and the chin. You can gently close your eyes and just start to feel your breath come in and let the breath release out. Feel that your lumbar, your lower back lets go a little bit, lengthening down through the tail end of your spine. Letting your shoulder blades drop towards your sitting bones, releasing and breathing into that plumb line. So you're just finding a sense of stacking through your bones. And we're sort of starting to find that sense of clarity through posture, through the bones, without anything else sort of getting in the way. And then we're just going to gently open the eyes, take the palms together, and let the breath come through your palms. We're just gliding back and forth, relaxing through the fingers here, getting a sense of heat and friction to come up into our hands. Relaxing and opening through the palms with the breath. And then we're going to separate the hands, feeling the energy between the palms. Let that energy push your palms out, opening into the space around you. So feeling that there's a sense of breath internally that helps expand through the body. And then we're just going to use that breath to explore the space around us from the inside to the outside. Breathing and moving and expanding. Feeling that you're breathing through the back of the body, finding a sense of opening and releasing into the space around you and expanding up and down, around the sides, behind you. You can just move in whatever direction you feel naturally comes through. you're finding a sense of organic movement. So this feels that it comes from inside your body, and you'll find that that gives you an interesting level of support. So that tells us when we're really connected from the inside, what expresses through the outside is very supported, and we're very aware of that. So now we're going to reach out through the palms, gathering energy through the palms from the space around you, using your breath. We're going to sense that energy over the eyes, just sensing it and then washing over the face with the breath and releasing. So we're finding a sense of just letting go and releasing in the face with our palms, feeling that we're washing a sense of calmness around the face through the center here. And then we're going to take our fingertips, maybe your middle fingers, going into the brow bone. We're going to exhale, massage from the inside, right on the bone, up and over the top of the eyes. Breathing out with a little bit of a lift up into the hairline. So we're breathing and releasing from the center, sort of like your third eye area, and lifting up. Use your breath to release and flush underneath the skin. Let the face feel a sense of release and openness come through. And then we're going to go under the eyes. Use your index fingers, a little bit of a bend, so you're on your knuckle a little bit here. Relax, try not to tense your face on this one especially. Relax under the eyes and sweep along the orbital bone, breathing and releasing and opening, a little bit of a lift again. And we're going to exhale, getting a nice flush through the sinuses here. And again, breathing out to sweep through and opening. Then we're going to take our fingertips right into the forehead and just releasing your breath and scrubbing up and down, just moving the skin on the surface, sort of ironing out any lines and letting things move underneath the skin, the lymph moving underneath. And then we're going to come around the outside of the eyes where the temples are. And we're just moving very, very lightly here. Just gently moving the skin in a circular motion, breathing into that. We're going to come down into the jaw, between the upper and lower jaw. So if you hang your jaw open a little to relax it, you can dig your fingers in here a little bit more. You can sort of press, you can palpate into the tissue a little bit more and look for wherever you feel tense and tight and just kind of loosening up and breathing into that. And just sort of move all around so you're discovering what this feels like on your body. So I'm going to give you points to go into certain areas as a guide, but essentially you're trying to get to know your own body, which ironically, you know, a lot of us don't really have so much in these terms. And then we're going to come around up over the ears. We're into the scalp. We're just scrubbing up and lifting above the ears towards the crown of the head. We're following the shape of the ears around the back of the head, lifting up and all the way down from the bottom of the head, the bottom of your cranium, where the spine, ears, a little bit wide from the ears going up, and then right into a little side massage into that crease between your head and your neck, the very, very top joint of the spine, the occipital, and then breathing into that space, going a little bit wider, letting the breath release. And then coming back in close to the spine. Now we're doing nice circular pattern massage, relaxing and breathing and releasing. I kind of like to let my head drop back into my palms a little bit, but if that doesn't feel good for you, you don't have to do that. So you're just finding where that the erectors along the sides can relax a little bit more. Going down the back of the neck until you reach the tops of your shoulders. We're going to dig our fingertips up over the traps and sweep over, exhale, breathe out, and a nice little sweeping off and letting go. And again, going back and exhale, relax the shoulders and sweep any stress and tension away. And again, back, exhale, release, and sweep. Feel the breath come from the base of the spine down low in the pelvis. Let that breath internally lift you up. We're going to interlace the fingers. Breath lifts us up from inside, reaching to the ceiling. We're going to lift and shift, breathing and shifting in the hips, feeling that the breath engages us into a more lengthened spine, but also we're a little bit more aware of how free the spine feels still. So we're connected, but we're not bracing or holding motion back. We're letting that come through, feeling that we're separating the spine from the pelvis almost, and feeling that the tissue is releasing from the bones. We're going to come back through center. Relax your arms down to relax your shoulders. Let your tail sweep under a little bit. We're taking a nice circular flush around. Find your elbow to the ceiling. Inhale, opening the chest, massaging in the scapula, relaxing over the other side, going forward and down and around. Let your head go. Inhale through the elbow and ribs up. And exhale over. Relax the tail as you come forward and around. Inhale through the side, finding your elbow, opening the chest up. Take a little pause up here, change the other way. Exhale, sweeping forward and around. Inhale, now find your other elbow, opening up to the ceiling to make space between the ribs. And exhale over, just letting your scapula, which is your shoulder blades, glide around the back of the ribs. Inhale, side and up. Feel the breath from the base of the spine, that lifting up internally, reaching through the arms. So the stretch of your spine comes through the arms. Keep that feeling and just open the arms, letting them flow as you breathe through the spine, through the midline, relaxing the arms around and down, and then just relaxing your arms to hang. We're going to bring the feet out in front, relaxing in the hips, and again, finding that nice comfortable release into our sits bones. So now from here, and maybe if you want them a little bit wider, you can. We're just going to find a nice release. Feel a breath through the upper abdomen a little bit as we come over. We're going to come over into a hang with the arms relaxed on the floor. But try not to feel like you're just totally letting go, right? If you feel really tight, you might want to think you're letting go a little bit more through the head. But use the weight of your head to guide you over, and then feel a sense of breath connection through the center, especially that upper abdominal breath. So we're going to exhale to drop the head. There's that little breath that comes in through the upper abdomen as we drop the head in between. So we're going to drop, and we feel the breath lift us up and over. So we're just not slouching into the hips, but we're sort of getting that energy to pulse through the spine, breathing out and out and out and out and out and out. And now we just hang and breathe and relax. Use the weight of your head to sway from side to side. So you're swaying the head and breathing and releasing. Let your shoulders relax and feel that weight shift into your sits bones from one side to the other. There's a sense of breath in the back of the ribs, expanding from the waist on a little bit of a diagonal. So we feel that the back rib cage sort of unsticks from the pelvis, and feeling more space between the ribs and the pelvis in the back. Now we're shifting on our sits bones a little bit more. We're going to use this rocking to now walk backwards along the floor. Your sitting bones are your feet here, lifting up and walking back, pushing down to lift up and walk back. So we're just dragging the leg along the floor. So feeling the connection through our pelvis into our hips, but not letting the tension of the legs get in the way. And then we'll walk forward. We're going to lift up. You can let your knee bend a little bit here. The opposite sitting bone is pushing on the floor like your foot would to shift up and over in the hips. So we're really moving through the bones again. We want to feel the release into the bones so that we can let go of any tensions and let any little tightnesses around the attachments come through a little bit more. So sometimes the mobility might be a little bit stuck. And you just want to breathe into that from the bone level, and then find that opening so that it can move a little or begin to move. And then just relax through the center hang. Feel that the tail of your spine is really heavy and draws down through the floor. As the breath comes in, we roll up. Feel the breath come in and up along the front of the spine. Keep breathing in and up, in and up, in and up, in and up, especially through the lower abdomen, especially as you almost get all the way through the top. So we engage through the pelvis to find that posture and freedom up here, and then we let go. So now from here, we're just going to relax back and under a little bit, a little scoop under in the tail. We're going to take our fists and just do a little bit of drumming into the lower back and the sacrum. Breathing into that, feeling a sense of letting go and releasing into the sacrum, thinking that you're getting in between the bones here, in between where the cartilage attaches the bones. Go along the outsides a little bit into your glutes and just kind of feel around where you need to pat. And then we're going to go up the sides of the spine, breathing and shifting all the way up to your ribs if you can, and then back down again. And then we're going to take our fists and just drop down into the sides of the hips. So we're just letting the palms kind of bounce off of the sides of the hips here. And then we're going to take one at a time from the back of the hip. We're using our fist to kind of flush down and out towards the foot. It's a little bit of a circular motion. And feel that your breath travels through your palm to do this. And as you go, the repetition is probably the most important component if you're feeling stuck and tight. You don't have to push harder. You just have to sort of do more and let it go each time a little bit more. Then we're going to open the palm. Use the heels of your hands to now loosen the hands, fluffing up around the sides of the legs. Nice little scooping, releasing, right down the sides of the legs where the IT band lines are. So you might need to correct your alignment. My legs kind of fall out. I'm just sort of going a little more parallel on this one so that I can really scoop and release all these bigger muscles around the sides. And again, we're trying to sort of stimulate into the fascia, into the connective tissue around the muscles, into the joints. Go all the way down towards your knees. We're right up above the knees here. We're going to take our fists and do little pats. So we're going around the tops of the knees, not on the knee yet, where the quadriceps attach into the knees. And we're just breathing into that, moving all around, letting go of the knees, getting some circulation to sort of travel to that area. And then we'll come right into the tops of the knees. We're going to do little taps with the fingertips. We're looking for a vibration here. So feeling that there's a sense of breath there still, feeling the vibration into the joint. So using that release into the joint, pretty much waking up the nerves here too, right? So nerves feel vibration, muscles respond to nerves. So even just walking and dropping or tapping, all this stuff is really good to wake up the nerves without anything else. And then travel down your shin bones. Breathing and tap, tap, tapping, feeling vibration, letting go all the way to the ankles, tapping back up the shins again. Now we're going to lean back, use the heels of your hands again to flush along the quads from the hips down to your knees. Again, here, you can use more pressure. You can think of your femur bones, right? So it's the thickest bone in the body. And we want to feel that we're really massaging these larger muscles all the way through, letting them get a nice flush down towards our feet. Go a little bit to the inside, a little bit to the outside. So our legs are round and we're going to just follow that. We're not necessarily following the line of each quadricep muscle, but we're just sort of giving an overall release. And then, so there's little lumpies, you know, you might feel it's because your muscle does not go straight all the way through. So they cross and there's other stuff there. So just a lot of people remark on the lumpiness here. So now we're going to come around the outside of the shins, loose hands, bouncing and fluffing. So we're going along our proneals. Again, there's a sense of vibration here but we're also feeling, you can drop with a little bit more pressure. It feels kind of good because we don't get much going on down there. So we're just going to breathe into that, finding a sense of release, waking up that area. And then from here, we're going to gently relax the knees, let the feet glide back. We're not trying to do a big stretch. We're using the tops of the hands. Lean a little bit back and under and flush down from the hips into your inner thighs now. So we want to get this moving around and releasing from the hip sockets. Any tension we feel holding on this adductor line. We're going to travel down this line of the inner thighs towards the knees, still flushing in the downward motion towards the floor. So we're getting that release and just sort of moving it a little bit differently than when it actually engages. And then we're going to flex through our heels, take a fist. There's a slight engagement in the calves. Exhale, drop into your calves. So you can do a big drop. You can do a little drop, especially if you're feeling sore there. We're breathing out. We want to find a nice letting go through the calves. Feel that you're connected with your breath, even if you're doing a big drop. So you don't want to feel that your breath is light, like, so feel that the breath comes through your hands still, even if it feels heavy. It's the difference between hitting yourself and dropping and releasing, right? So we don't want to hit. We just want to let go, and we're using our hands to do so. Focus on your Achilles tendon area below the calves. So we've got the calves, the soleus, the Achilles, and we're just kind of dropping into that a little bit. We're going to relax the palms back and do a nice shake out along the floor, shifting in the hips and the shoulders, releasing behind the knees. We're going to take one knee up, let the breath in, start the exhale through the low abdomen, through the midline. So we gather a little bit and then let go. So the leg releases from a little bit of connection and stability. And again, the breath and up. And one more in each. And again. Now from here, we're just going to do little taps, releasing. We're turning in the bones, letting go of the muscles, and just doing a little in and out motion. Just a little introductory rotation there with release. We're going to bring the feet in, and we're going to start to roll through the ankles. I just want to change my view there. So now everything sort of matches better. We're going to relax the feet, roll through the ankles, start to breathe through the feet here, rolling on the floor. And then we're going to let the feet relax on the floor and massage right into that inside heel ankle bone area. So all these crossover tendons, we want to kind of wake up on the inside of the ankles in towards the inside arches of the feet. And then go underneath the feet into the soles of your feet. We're taking a nice deep massage, flushing, using your thumbs maybe, and getting a nice release and breath into underneath the soles. But think of the length, the alignment of the bones. So we have our metatarsal bones into each toe. I think everybody kind of knows that. And if you don't, we do. So you're tracing along those bones on the underside of your feet, breathing and lengthening out all the way up into where the toes start to come out. So you can give a little bit of length and traction through the toe lines. And then take your hands underneath the balls of the feet and just hold space in between your toes, breathing that space open a little bit, relaxing the feet while you hold that space. And then relaxing out of that, we're going to come back into our palms on the floor. We're doing a little curl under, the sits bones scoop towards the tail of the spine and flush down and out through the feet here. So we feel the breath come from our center. We're going to exhale through the soles of the feet, breathing into the floor. The toes reach and pull up and forward. So it's a little dome. Exhale. There's a connection we feel from our center running down and out through the feet. So the feet, they don't feel too far away. They don't feel foreign. They are connected, and we do have control ultimately. And we want to wake everything up so we feel it. So now, once we get too far away, reverse by the toes going over first. Breathe the soles of the feet, drag your heels back to open through the toes. If you have really high arches, you can think of melting your arches into the floor, expanding like a puddling over and melting and drag. Let's go forward one more time. Exhale, squeezing through and walk. Feeling the breath come through the feet and opening the toes and walk. And exhale and through. And then just relax, shaking the legs out here. We're going to bring the feet back in, a nice little crossover or diamond shape or feet out, whatever feels good for you. Lifting up and just breathing into this massage through the top side ribs, the happy hamster, breathing and opening around, flushing the lymph through here, going all around the abdomen, waking things up underneath there. And then coming around right into the front of the hips, into the groin, and just kind of checking that out, moving the lymph around a little bit there. Coming up right into the center of the chest, the breastplate here, the sternum, breathing out and little letting go and scrubbing up and down, releasing any tension there. And then traveling into the abdomen, nice long strokes from the ribs down into the hips and around the sides of the ribs. A nice little circling from bell around the other side. I told her that I want her to come to yoga class today. And then around. And then we'll come back through center, relax the shoulders, letting the arms go. We're going to relax the head over, take your opposite hand and just start to massage right into the front of the shoulder, breathing out and hanging over, finding a nice little flush through the lymph here. You can let your head gently move to untangle from your neck a little. And if you don't want to move it, if it's too much, you can just stay there in a little hang. And then we'll come over to the other side. Let this arm go. Think of your shoulder releasing first. And we're breathing into that, massaging all around, finding that nice release through the side of the neck, and then just feeling what your head wants to do. Using your breath, feeling that you're connected internally in your body while you're doing all of this. And then we'll come back up through center, relaxing the tail of the spine under. We're going to gather the breath, inhale, lifting up inside to lift the arms and chest all the way through. As we exhale, release the arms and let them hang down, but feel the spine still remain suspended up. And again, soft tail, breath comes in. We're letting that internal connection move us into length up. We try to keep it as we let go. And one more. Inhale. Feel that gathering from the base of the spine up and release. Then on this downward V slope, we just do a nice good shaking out and breath release through the shoulders, the elbows, the wrists, the hands, feeling that you're really letting go with your breath from the spine down and out, releasing and shifting. You can kind of hang a little bit forward in your head if you want. Feel that the breath releases from your upper back a little bit too. That's kind of a nice feeling. Letting go there, kind of unsticking the shoulder blades, and try to go until you feel a nice fuzzy feeling all the way down into the fingertips here. And then we're going to relax through center each finger. We're just sort of pulling it longer from the palm, using the breath right from the center of the chest, and exhale, opening. So you don't want to feel that you're throwing your arms back. You're feeling that expansion out from the center, out through the sides. So you feel almost kind of like that bird flight sensation where you can connect to open wide laterally, relaxing the shoulders. So we're just letting each nerve line from each finger breathe and release. and finding how that releases all the way up into our spine. Oh, I got a really good one there. And breathing out. And again. Relaxing the arms, finding your breath to let the arms open. And sometimes the chest just feels a little bit stuck. We need that little extra breath to let the chest open. We're going to interlace the fingers and just do a little compression release here. And you can kind of shift the heels of your hands around. Compressing and releasing, it's the webbing of our fingers. We're breathing open into the palms. Relax your wrists, relax your shoulders, and start to glide around in the wrists, finding a nice momentum release here. Breathing out and shifting around. Find your own rhythm by releasing your breath. Try not to make it happen because it probably won't. And then we're going to reverse it. So now we just make the brain work a little bit differently. Try to let go with your breath in reversing this pattern. See if you can let go to find an equal sort of amount of rhythm there. One side will not feel as good as the other though. And then, or as natural, we're going to separate. Inhale from the center of the palm, breathe the fingers open. Exhale from the center of the palm, collect and squeeze it. Inhale from the palm. And exhale, feel that connection in. So we're letting the fingers expand from that support through the center of the palm. It's very different than if we just do out and in and out and in, right? So if we just use the tips of the fingers and go out and in, we can actually cause more tension into our hand. I think this is really important because we're all on computers more, and just feeling that we're, and the phones, I mean, really. So I recommend talk texting there. And then feeling the breath. We're going to do squeezing breath now from the base of the spine. We want to let the breath come in, expand through the body as we inhale. Opening out. We're going to exhale, start squeezing through the low belly, the dantian. We're going to exhale, squeeze through your distal points, your fingertips, your toes, your eyes. We're using the breath to squeeze out anything we don't need anymore. We're cleansing through this breath, compressing through the nerve lines till you don't have any more breath. Let the breath in, open and expand. Finding that squeezing breath again. Start with the pelvis, fingertips, toes, eyes, feeling that compression as we exhale. Thinking of anything negative, physical or emotional. You need to make space and push out of your body with the breath. New breath comes in, opening the lines, freeing space. One more time, exhale. Expanding and opening on this last one. We're going to use an exhale, but we're gathering that light new energy through the fingertips and toes, using the breath to draw that into our center, enveloping it, keeping that sense of openness with it. Letting the breath in, we're going to release the arms, just to let go of anything that was holding on left. Go right up into the very top of your neck where your occipital is, and just take your hands interlacing, hold the back of your head, relax your elbows. If they need to come a little forward, they can. Breathe through the back of the head, releasing into your palms. Relax your jaw and chin, and just feel how long you can lengthen through your neck by letting go. And using your hands to guide that space, and your shoulders feel nice and relaxed. And you might feel an awareness through the tail end of your spine. Keep your palms sweeping up, lifting out through the crown, around and down. Thinking of that breath energy through the back of the body, we're going to use the eyes to just gently look around the room. So we're gently breathing out, scanning the room with the eyes, looking all around to the side. So we feel a connection internally to what we see externally. We're very connected in to out, out to in. Take a new breath and sweep your eyes around to the other side. Try to relax your eyes so that you feel you're actually seeing in a very relaxed way. You're not trying to see. You're actually letting your vision happen. And then again, breath comes in and thinking of that vision leading you. You can think of your vision expanding beyond the space you're in, going through the walls, out into the space around you, into the distance. And one more time, feeling that breath connection from the back through the eyes and then sort of out to come in, looking out nice and wide, nice and relaxed. And then letting the eyes come back through center. We're going to take a deep breath in. We're going to pull the breath up. Inhale, squeezing the eyes shut and holding the breath. Try not to lift your shoulders and scrunch around your neck here and your throat. We're going to inhale from the base here. Pulling it up, pulling it up, pulling it up, pulling up. And then exhale, letting go. Relax the eyes open. You can blink a little bit and move around. We're going to take the hands and just sort of sweep, washing and blinking around the eyes, just like you're sweeping away any little extra energetic cobwebs here, releasing from the face, and then taking our fingertips and tapping all around the skull, breathing and just feeling every little piece of your head through your fingers, becoming aware of sensation through the head. And then a nice sense of a little sweeping up through the back of the neck into the head, very light here, and just feeling that sense of length one more time. And then relaxing the arms, and we're just gonna feel the length back here guide you. This does not have to be fast. If you don't feel comfortable with fully letting go, then don't. You can even just watch this part if you don't feel, if you have neck things and you don't feel comfortable. So we're just gonna breathe and go side to side. So we're rotating, right? So this is our second vertebrae that gives us this rotation. And then we're going to let it go, let the eyes go. We're still seeing a sliver. Let the jaw release and just let your breath release here. To let that go through the top of the spine. And gently slow this motion down. Don't stop abruptly and try not to. Oh no. Okay. There we go. Sorry. Okay, so hopefully everyone's slowed down on their own. Now we're going to come around onto hands and knees. I had a low power warning there. Okay, so hands and knees. So we are balanced between our shoulders and our hips. But really what we're looking for is the weight distribution balance between our palms from right to left and our knees, right to left, left to right, however you want to think about it. Now, all kinds of things happen throughout the spine in this position, right? So we want to feel that there's a nice sense of weight bearing. And we want to feel that the scapula, the shoulders, sometimes they're lifted up here. Sometimes it feels tight in the wrist, tight in the elbows, whatnot. However, you know, we all have different things. We're going to slightly draw the shoulder blades down. We're going to lift the heels and tuck the toes under. And then just find a little sense of bending your elbows. Make sure you're bending not out to the sides, but a little dropping towards your knees. And then your shoulder blades start to glide down the back of the ribs a little. And then the chest can breathe a little open. I'm not trying to lift my head. I'm just focusing on my shoulders and my chest. And my tail starts to lengthen then. I start to feel my tail. We're going to let the breath come through the abdomen in, lifting us up. You're lifting out of the shoulders, out of the hips. Change your feet to lengthen your toes out. Use the breath continuously up to the ceiling and little push back with your palms shifting into the back of the body. Think that you're breathing wide, expanding from the sides of the vertebrae around the sides of your back. Feel the breath lift up to the ceiling along your spine. So from the base of the spine, through the abdomen, in and up through the chest, bringing the chest through the shoulders. So we're lifting through the shoulders. Heels lift, toes tuck under. Exhale, little bend in the elbows. Find your tail and your sits bones gliding back. And come forward. Breath lifts you up to the ceiling. The breath lifting through your stomach, and I mean your actual stomach where the organ is, not your low belly. The stomach lifts to the ceiling to drop your tail. And we keep breathing in and up to the ceiling. So we want to open the back in that lower back area without the pelvis. We want to free up the length of the sacrum down. And then lift internally along the spine to the ceiling, lifting up. So we're lifting out of the hips, we're lifting out of the shoulders to bring the chest through, letting the shoulder blades glide down, heels lift, toes tuck under, and that little bend in the elbows to feel a little gliding in your scapula and your tail draws back. Now we'll come forward. We're going to take one foot, relax your feet, let your toes tuck under, find your heel. Now, as you're finding your heel, there's all kinds of things that are happening in the hips that we all hold. We're just going to flush. Think of the breath from the center, flushing down and back through your heel behind you. So you feel a sense of connection internally to your legs. And then toes tuck under. You have to find that release of your heel to kind of get it going, and then exhale, gliding back. Not everyone's knees like this, I know. But if they do, you can just sort of relax maybe into a position that feels good for you with this. But we're trying to find a sense of connecting while we stretch, right? So stretching doesn't mean letting go. We want to find a balance. Like, can you hold your body while you're stretching? You know, being flexible is not balanced, you know. Everything has to work to make everything sustain. Now we're going to come back. We're going to tuck the toes under. Your toes are a little bit apart and heels a little bit more together. We're going to push back. Your tail goes back over your heels. You're hanging in this little squatting position. Hang the arms over the knees. And again, not everybody's knees like this, I know. If your knees are not having it, you can just sort of hang like a little monkey here, relaxing the arms. But feel, if you're down here, do a little bit of shifting, use your hands, try to relax your feet and shift your body weight a little forward and back, especially towards your heels. Some people can definitely get their heels down. Mine are way too up. I mean, whatever, they're fine. I'm letting go in my ankles, and for me, that's where I am. So I'm working into that release through the soles of the feet. Let's take our hands really close to the toes, a nice little scoop in the abdomen, lifting up. We're going to lengthen through the legs to hang. Now, if you need something to push on, to hang over more comfortably, you can do that. If you need to have even like a little stool or a chair or a pillow. So you want to feel that your tail starts to plumb line down the back of the legs through your heels. You can separate your feet a little bit to find that nice hang. You can even bend your knees a little. We're just going to shake the legs out, releasing. Let one knee bend and shift your body weight over the bent knee a little, but shift down through the straight leg, hip, and heel. You're actually shifting your hip towards the straight leg, and then change. Little softening of the knee, the upper body, the torso hangs over the knee, but your hip shifts down towards the other heel, and change. So we're just kneading from one side to the other, getting that lower backside hip waist a little bit more open, and shifting and hanging, and shifting and breathing. You can use your breath to kind of scoop a little bit more to intensify this release. Come back through center into a nice hang, finding the breath release through the head, neck, and shoulders. Feel the breath again through your stomach, lift up to the ceiling, where that breath lifting us up towards the upper abdomen,
draws your tail down. So we feel a nice revolving roll up, but connected into the spine, into each little vertebrae as we roll up. And then finding that nice lengthening in your hips, long through the tail, long through the stomach. We're going to do a little bit of breathing. I have to shift a couple things here. Ironically, the phone is the best. But, okay. So now from here, we're going to find the breath connection when we're standing with a sipping breath. Feeling that we start the sip from the base of the spine, just like when we're sitting in the floor. Sipping through the mouth to gather internally in and up along the spine. We're trying to feel this connection come through without adding tension through the back, right? So finding that release down through here. Fingertips are on the low belly. We want to actually physically feel the muscles gather in and up as we sit. You can give a little bit of pressure down through the feet as you start. We're going to exhale, deepen this connection and softly bend the knees. Gently lengthen the legs, find your sipping and pushing down again. And exhale. And again, sipping, pushing down to lift up. And exhale. Relax the arms. Find the breath. We're going to sip the breath and now let the arms float up as we sip. Relaxing in the shoulders, gliding the scapula down the back. Exhale, breathing through the midline to release knees and elbows, forward, around, and down. Feel the breath come through the dantian. Feet push a little bit into the floor as we sit. And exhale. One more time, gathering the breath. Thinking of your tail nice and long down to the floor, draping behind you. And exhale. Relaxing the arms down, take a deep breath in. And exhale, release. And again, inhale, you can do a little fist. And release. One more time, in and up. And release. Feel that lengthening down through the back of the body and the tail. Feel that back body released energy to bring you forward into a nice walk. So we're feeling a nice shifting in the hips from releasing and lengthening down and out the back. Feeling how that brings us into a nice long posture. And that is it for today. Thank you very much, devices and people. All right, thank you guys. Next Wednesday at 12 o'clock. Let me know if you have any special requests because we can do different things. I'm fine with that if anybody has anything. Maybe we can add a little bit of floor stretching. I don't know. What do you think? All right. Take care. Thank you. Uh-oh. There we go. Bye.
Thank you very